Now that we're coming into the final weeks of Season 11, I thought it would be interesting to look back on it and kind of break down the entire season. I feel like a lot of people thought this was the worst season ever in the history of Overwatch 2, and honestly, I'm inclined to agree that it's definitely a contender. We did get some cool stuff like Runesarpi, but the negatives heavily outweigh the positives. To put it short, there simply wasn't enough good stuff in this season, whilst there was plenty of bad stuff for the community to complain about, including me. Many times. I know I haven't done a guide in forever, but this is honestly more fun, just complaining about the game, because it's an absolute mess. I'll start the retrospective in a minute, but first I'm gonna ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as I want to continue making Overwatch 2 related content that's not only entertaining, but educational too. Let's start by talking about the theme, because God, it was awful. It was so out of the blue, and coming from the previous season that was also themed to crime fighting and vigilantism, with the whole heroes versus villains thing, it just kind of felt like a slap in the face. The thing is, they're not running out of theme ideas. We're 11 seasons in and they're already looking burned out. Hopefully next season's theme is going to be a lot better, because the only good thing to come from this theme was the Ashe Mythic skin and the Kaiju Roadhog skin. Those are two great skins, it's just a shame that they're as expensive as they are. Unless you're buying the Battle Pass and getting the Ashe Mythic skin, that's going to set you back $80. Talking about skins, we need to quickly discuss the absolute mockery that was the Lifeguard skins, because oh my god was this pointless. The way they painted it was that these would be our Summer Games skins because they fit the whole kind of quote-unquote day at the beach narrative, but they released on the same day that the event ended. Not only that, half of them were just recolors. The only Lifeguard skins that weren't based off of already existing skins are Lifeweaver, Kiriko, and Roadhog. The other four are absolute uninspired garbage. At least Pink Mercy made a comeback and they released a rose gold version to celebrate the return. That's pretty neat. We as a community collectively raised a whopping $12.7 million for BCRF back in 2018, when the first Pink Mercy came out. So I'm interested to see how much more we raise this time around, with the player base being as big as it is now. Now, moving on to the balancing. That's a good one. There's no balance in this game. Oh my god. Tanks got gigabuffed because they, quote, didn't feel tanky. Which is true, but holy crap, did you need to tune it up this much? Now it feels like the complete opposite in some fights. It's kinda weird. In other fights, it's completely fine, but that's mainly because they play counters. Oh yeah, they also messed around with Lucio to the point where he has less knockback than Pharah, a hero who's been absolutely plaguing lobbies this season because of how strong she is, for god knows whatever reason. This season's been an absolute mess for balancing. I'm going to finish this retrospective by talking about this season's events, because they were a bit hit or miss. We didn't get a themed event like we usually do, but we got community crafted, quick play hacked, pick your passive, and summer games. Alright, let's speedrun this. Summer games, shit. 3/4 of the time it's just the same two modes with 0 changes, and the skins are made for gooners. Community crafted, actually really enjoyable. The content creators made some really cool changes that I think would be great if they were in the game as actual features, like Reaper's Fade being near enough the same as Moira's. Pick your passive. Pretty cool, yeah, it was alright. Obviously some passives were better than others, like debuff cooldowns being short of tanks, meaning if they got slept, it would only be for 1 second. But in terms of the different quick play hacked events we've had, it was probably the best one. It's a shame that the two good events were towards the start of the season, because it means that the player base has kinda gone a bit silent, but that's the thing I'm going to talk about in my conclusion. First, I have to talk about the rewards, because there literally wasn't anything good for any of these events. Quick Play Hacked never gives us anything in specific, so that's fine, but the other two were literally just a lot of XP, and in the case of Summer Games, player icons. No skins or anything, just absolute tat that we had to grind for god knows what reason. If you're gonna make us grind, at least make the reward worth it. Give us some kind of skin, even if it's some, like, rare. I'll take it. It's better than whatever we got. But that just about does it for this video. Now, to conclude, I think it's important to mention that whilst this season did feel like a blunder, we need to take into consideration what was going on surrounding this season because we've had stuff releasing alongside this season being active. Towards the start of the season, we had Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, which a lot of Overwatch streamers gravitated towards to kind of have a little break, which is completely valid. It's a great game that I could talk about for hours on end, but I won't. Then we had the alpha and beta of Marvel Rivals. The alpha earlier this season and the beta that's currently open at the moment. Streamers also gravitated towards this game, with some even having deals with the studio to play the game on stream and basically show it off. Combine all of this with a pretty dry season for Overwatch and you have a recipe for disaster. Player count was actually increasing according to ActivePlayer.io, but it felt the complete opposite due to the fact that other games were absolutely thriving at this time. When the game has zero hype, it just feels like it's kind of there, lurking in the background, waiting for someone to go over and interact with it. I don't know whose fault this is, whether it's marketing or the fact that there just wasn't much to do this season, but I know for sure that this season was pretty weak compared to the others. In terms of worst, I don't really know, because it's hard to weigh Season 1 and Season 11 together, considering Season 1 was literally like the thirst season. It was still enjoyable though, whereas Season 11, I don't know. I found myself playing a lot of different games this season rather than Overwatch. Anyways, thanks for watching. Once again, I'm going to ask you to like this video as it lets me know that you find these videos not only to be helpful, but entertaining. Let me know what you thought about this season in the comments. I know it's not completely finished and we have a few weeks left, but I feel like you guys can make a judgment based on everything that's gone down already. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure to check out my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.